So today I have managed to lay my hands on a car that I've been excited about for years. It is this, the VW ID Buzz. So that means that today there's going to be quite a bit of this. Roomy. A bit of that. So it's telling me to do something in German. What was I doing wrong then? And a fair amount of him. Hello.
Hello.
Don't worry, I'll explain all about Martin in just a minute. But for now, I would like to know what you think about this reinvention of the classic VW vehicle. Are you as excited about it as I am? Although I doubt that very much. Does it give you the buzz? Sorry, I had to get at least one joke in. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So the ID Buzz first appeared as a rather fabulous concept, complete with its own levitating dash gnome. Truly, it did have one. Sadly, it's not on this version anymore though, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, it's been gently edging towards reality ever since then, and it has been 5 long years. So what is it? Well, it's just a big family bundle of joy that will also be offered as a van in both short and long wheelbases, and might come with up to 8 seats down the line, which is a joyful thought for large families football teams the world over. It's based on the same bits underneath as the VWs, ID.3, ID.4 and ID.5, and it will eventually come with a couple of different battery choices and loads of options, from some very clever autonomous driving tech to eventually, and this is the bit that makes me happy, somewhere to make a cuppa and rest your head at night, just like the original VW camper. But for now, it's only available as this 5-seater or as a transporter van. But you know, even the promise of a camper makes me really feel quite happy. Anyone who knows me will understand that I have a bit of a thing for VW campers and vans. I've been owning them, driving them, holidaying in them my whole life. So an electric VW van, it's like it's been made, especially for me. But you know, it's also got an awful lot to live up to. Now, this is a pre-production prototype, which is why it's wearing its beautiful rainbow outfit. And I'm getting a first go before a full catwalk reveal to the public. If you're wondering about Martin here, you're not my bodyguard, are you?
No, I'm the bodyguard of the car.
Exactly. This car is so special. VW insisted it comes with a minder, so I don't steal it away and pick up the family and head to Cornwall, which is what I normally do when I get one. Have you been to Cornwall?
No, I've never been there, but someone told me it's quite nice there, so maybe another time.
It's really nice. We could go now, you know.
I know, but there are others there who want to drive the car, so
okay.
Not this time.
I'll keep trying. So let's take a proper look, and you can immediately see where the whole new VW bus thing is coming from. Even with this fantastic funky wrap, we can do a bit of digging to see what's going on. Now obviously it's got that big, simple, boxy shape, which is great for interior space. And there are LED headlights that wrap around into the bodywork. You can also see VW's signature front light that runs between the 2 headlights and right through that big VW badge in the middle. Then there's a full-width grille at the bottom. Now, some of the style has been toned down a bit since the concept, like the front bumper, which is a shame, but that's to be expected. And I do still think the shapes are going to work really well. And of course, it does have that familiar look. At the front, you get normal doors, and then back here, sliding doors on either side. Super handy for loading in the kids or for tight car parking spaces. And at the back, well, it's a similar idea. VW classic design remixed into a modern version of the iconic vehicle. Do you think it's got potential? Let us know in the comments below. Now, I can't show you too much in here because it's all top secret, but you know how electric cars are able to be more space efficient because they can put their batteries under the floor? Just imagine how good that feels in a van. And the short overhangs and this long wheelbase just add to the feeling of space. And with this much space, there's any number of things you can do, from an 8-seat minibus to a 5-seat MPV to a van that will hold 2 Euro pallets, to my favourite, a camper. So, the driving. Do you know what? Straight away, it just feels fantastic with the front of the car dropping away from the base of the windscreen. It just feels like the classic VW buses, except of course it's very quiet, feels way more perky, it's very quick off the mark. But I think what I love about it is how familiar it feels, and how, like every other caravel and camper that I've driven, is that it's really easy to drive. Of course, this is a big thing, it's very long, but it's got an 11-metre turning circle, which is the same as a VW Polo. And it just doesn't feel like a big, hefty van to drive. It feels nimble, as I said, visibility is great. So I've put it into B mode here, and it's giving a really nice feeling of regeneration. So if I lift off the accelerator, just very gently slowing down, but it still does feel nice and grabby. And as you know, that's one of the things that I really love about electric cars. Do you like it, Martin?
Well, perfect. Ginny, you get a bit more bus feeling if you fold down the armrest.
Ah!
You know, it's typical bus feeling. On the other hand, there's another one.
Okay, there we go. I forgot about these.
It is like this kind of driving style. Very relaxed.
Oh, you see, Martin's just reminded me about the armrests. I was so excited to drive it, I'd forgotten about that bit. I know, it's a real head turner. I mean, it's not surprising it's turning heads though, is it? Because it's in this crazy rainbow.
Camouflage, of course.
I think quite a lot of people will say that, oh, it doesn't look like the original. But for me, I think the minute you get the two-tone paint on any van, and I think in particular on this one as well, I think it's going to feel instantly recognisable. And it certainly has that really kind of nice, laid-back, easy feel behind the wheel. It's got really clever tech that will allow it to share data with other campers that are on the road, to feed back things about what's happening on the road in front of you. It's that kind of technology that's going to be really useful as we roll out smart motorways, for example, around the UK, that will allow vehicles to talk to each other. The other thing that's great is an automatic parking system. So what that will do is actually learn things like your driveway. So if you're one of these really lucky people who's got a very long, complicated, winding driveway, the car will actually learn all the twists and the turns, and the van will park itself for you. How perfect is that at the end of a long day? I think it's fair to assume that the Buzz is going to get the best bits from the VW parts bin too. So most will have a motor in the rear driving the rear wheels, and you can choose between a range of batteries from 48 kilowatt hours to a massive 111 kilowatt hours. So this should see a maximum range in the range topping Buzz about 342 miles. There will also be a two-motor four-wheel drive version using basically the same kit as the ID.4 GTX, and that promises to be speedy. But if we take the 77 kilowatt hour battery like this one as an example, that will mean at least 125 kilowatt DC charging, which equates to a 30-minute rapid charge top-up from 10 to 80%. Or around 12 hours plus on the average home wall box. And obviously that monster 111 kilowatt hour battery is going to take longer, but of course it gets more range. There are some clever innovations which will soon be available on all of VW's electric cars too. The first is something called Plug and Charge, which finally matches the convenience of charging at a Tesla station by doing away with the need to swipe your card. So you just plug in and the ID pass will talk to the charging point and exchange all the necessary data to take payment. That comes directly off a card that you've logged. Clever, eh? The car also has the option of bi-directional charging, which lets the ID Buzz be used like a storage battery device. For example, it's possible to store surplus energy from the solar panels in the ID Buzz during the day, and then to feed that energy back into the house in the evening. Now, of course, a lot of the dash in here is disguised, and Martin will definitely not let me peek underneath it. But what you do get are these two screens. You've got a smaller one here, secondary screen there, but also, importantly, there are also physical buttons, which I really like. So, Martin, we're nearly back now. I'm just going to say one more time. Cornwall?
No, Ginny. No.
Please?
Not today. Maybe another day.
Okay. One day. One day. You know what? I know this production version of the ID Buzz isn't exactly like the concept car, and I, for one, do hope that the gnome makes an appearance at some point. But on first impressions, I think it's really close. Look, as we've seen with cars like the Fiat 500, it's a classic that we love, reimagined for the world that we live in today. But we do need to talk about price, though. So the van versions, which my builder dad would have driven, won't be too pricey compared to other electric commercial vehicles. This one should be around £50,000, but the rumour is that the camper could be pushing past £70,000. Not something your average hippie or surfer dude will be able to stretch to. But on the plus side, these vans hold their value incredibly well, so that it could well be cheaper to run overall. And that is the thing you need to look at with electric vehicles in particular. It's the total cost of ownership. And in case you're wondering what that is, we have an explainer all about it over on electrifying.com. So what do we think electrifiers? Is the ID Buzz set to become an icon like its grandparents? Or is it just a clever bit of marketing? Do let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, then you know the second a full first drive video drops on the channel. In the meantime, take a look at electrifying.com for all the latest news and reviews.